featuring Steve Young and Tony Davenport. On our conversation about Pleasantville, Atlantic City, and surrounding areas. We want to do a moment of silence before we get started. Is there anything else you want to say, Mr. Young?
Yeah, peace and blessings to everyone. Welcome to Community Engagement. And you can also call in before we have our moment of silence at 609-641-8870. That's 609-641-8870 for Community Engagement with Tony Davenport and Steve Young.
You got it. Good. Okay, and we just want to repeat that one thing again, that phone number for anyone that has anything that they need to say or they want to talk about or they might not agree with something that's said on the program. Please take the time to call in and have a conversation with us.
Because a closed mouth don't get fed, and it definitely don't get heard.
Yes.
So speak your mind, 609-641-8870. Just don't whistle about it, or just let's talk about it.
Please. Okay, we have also, I just want to do one announcement for the station, WHA. We have a Mother's Day brunch, which is going to be on Saturday, May the 9th at 11 a.m. at Beacon Hall. I see $30 for adults and $15 for 12 and under. The number is 609-641-8870. If you have to inquire about that, that's the number that you would call. Okay, Mr. Young, so...
Yes, also we have a couple of announcements to make. Atlantic City Housing Authority, HUD is taking over. And there's been a lot of interesting things going on right now. Now they're going around and talking to every resident one-on-one. Can you imagine HUD all the way from Washington talking to our residents one-on-one about the issues that's going on and how the residents can improve it? I've never seen it before in my life. I've seen it for myself today.
That's amazing. They
met with the Stanley Home resident. They have an association, and that association decided to do something for themselves. And thanks to its president, Tammy Bethia. And she's been very strong and went to Washington, spoke out, and been in the front line with it. And a lot of people, so when you're in the front line, a lot of people get jealous of that.
Yes.
They wait till things get easy and say, oh, I can take over now, But there was a lot of strain and a lot of pressure. Well, she kept the fight.
Well, God bless her sister.
And now she has an organization that's helping her.
That's good.
Which is an organization of residents. So they're having a Stanley Home Spring Cleaning Day. And that's going to be a spring cleaning day on Sunday, April 26th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And it's going to start at the Second Village Playground. And that's for the first and second village residents. And they're going to take the day to clean out and unwanted belongings from their homes and revitalize their own yards. And they're doing this without HUD, without community. They're doing it with the community and the residents first.
Yes.
So they're doing something for themselves, and we just hope the rest of the community going to pick up from that and do something for itself. Even though they've been forced to leave and forced that they're going to tear down their houses and without heat and hot water, they still say they're going to do something for themselves.
So how is HUD handling this now? I mean, what are they doing to help the residents? I mean, I know you said they're going to have conversations, but what are they doing, Well,
they've been going to some of the scattered sites, Section 8 as well. They've been improving what has been the norm of not listening to the residents. So now they're starting to repair the emergency situations.
Got it.
Even in some of the senior buildings. They had over 200-something vacancies, and people have been on the waiting list for years. And now those vacancies are starting to be repaired and fixed up and rehabilitated and done the right way. I mean, can you imagine people without stoves and refrigerators and cabinets for same ones for 20 and 30 years? That stuff's not supposed to last that long.
No.
But now, HUD, and we was asking HUD when we met with the secretary, and we told him, like, listen, HUD got some responsibility with this too.
Yes.
How can you keep giving the housing authority money?
Yes.
And these conditions are
coming
worse.
Checking to see if work's being done.
So the residents, again, they're going to have a community cookout and celebration afterwards. So they're asking everybody to.
So that's after the spring cleaning.
After they're going to have food, music, and fun, and they can contact 609-982-9950. or they can go to tammypathia@688@gmail.com. And she's the president of Resident Council. And again, they're going to do their own spring cleanup, rake up the leaves, clean up for themselves. They don't need management to do it. They don't need housing authority. They're not waiting. They're going to do something for themselves.
That's how it should be anyway.
Yes.
You know, take care of your own. Yeah. I'm glad you said that, because I did have a little conversation with someone at City Hall, and I was told that they finally got an answer back from the insurance company. I think the money is there to start the repairs down there. Don't take my word for it 100%, but, you know, that's what I'm hearing. Right. So, you know, you guys inquire. You know, sometimes these things take time. But you should see some action soon, and hopefully we'll have the rec center back open here in Pleasantville. Yeah,
and that's the rec center in Pleasantville. How long do you think, what's the time period, did they say?
You know what, I haven't seen the damage inside, so it's according to what type of damage they have in there. But, you know, if they get on top of it, you know, things should be done fast.
Okay. Yeah, because that's a big concern for the community.
Yes, it is.
Especially for our young people.
Yes, it is.
You know, I see them out there playing on that basketball court.
Some of the older ones too, because they were using the workout equipment, you know, the gym, this and that. So, you know, those things are necessary, man, in the community. And it's so funny because I saw a couple of the guys that were always in the rec center down at Planet Fitness now. You know what I mean? Right. So, you know, they talking about they want to go back home. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's nothing like home, you know. And you get used to it for a while, you know, you want to go back to it.
Hey.
Okay.
Come on, have a seat.
Good trouble, just survived, everybody.
Have a seat.
I heard a pastor at a funeral the other day, Pastor Batu. He was preaching on Timothy about about good trouble, and a good fight. And we all have. He was talking about how we all have to fight within ourselves.
Yes.
As well as sometimes you got to fight people the right way.
Yes.
And I tell you, I haven't heard nobody preach like that in a long time. So I said, shout outs to that brother. I mean, you know how you at a service, right? You just sit there, you don't move. Right. And everybody looking at me, not moving, right? I'm not shouting, everybody. So I'm being, you know, I ain't feel it yet.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Right. So when he started talking about fighting and standing up and good trouble and looking right at me, so it fit right in me, man. I started moving in, but so the spirit, you know, when it hits you, you can't hold that back. So I just wanted to.
But like you said, that's something we all should do.
Yes.
Join that fight.
Yes.
Because it's necessary, man. It really is. Yeah. So, Mr. Page, how you been?
I've been doing okay.
Good.
Okay, I've seen a couple of your shows.
Yes.
Omar, Solomon.
Yes.
Yeah. It's good to see him.
So next week, just so you guys know, I talked to Bishop Johnson. I said he's said he'll be here next week.
Okay.
We could probably get another man of the cloth or whoever. I would want to bring Umar back on.
I'm working on two guys.
Good.
Men of cloth.
Good.
Pleasantville.
Now, also, Mr. Young, we had a conversation earlier today about getting a group of 10 of us, you know, brothers to sit down and have a serious conversation. So we have our three here. I know a couple other ones that I had already talked about getting, but, you know, we need to sit down and have a conversation on Pleasantville and how we're going to move some things forward.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that. You know, we're going to talk about town hall meetings.
Yes.
And it's going to be one next week.
Yes.
While we're on the air. It's the New Jersey Institute for Social Justice, and they want to join community, especially Atlantic City, neighbors for a community town hall. Focus on, guess what?
What?
Reparations and environmental justice in your community. And they talking about Atlantic City. And we've always had that. So
that's reparations coming from?
That's from it's called New Jersey Institute for Social Justice.
Where they going to get it from?
And I really don't know where they're going to get it from, but that's going to be Thursday, April the 23rd, which is next week, from 6:30 to 8:30, and it's going to be at St. James AME Church. So, you know, everybody should come out and see, you know, everybody's welcome.
See what needs to be said.
And it's going to be dinner and light refreshments. I guess they say this is a way to get people to come, you know, get them out.
Free
so
it's amazing because that word reparations hits a spot there, you know what I mean?
And they just put everybody on the spot and say, if you care about equity, justice, and building a strong Atlantic City together, we hope you'll join us and be there. So I found that, and I know Pastor Boyer. He has a church in Trenton,
Okay.
and he's been very vocal when it comes to the politics, and when it comes to us not getting our share,
Yes.
Yeah.
and also about the black agenda.
Yes.
So I know he would probably be there with Mr. A lawyer, Haygood. These guys that I've been, when you go throughout New Jersey, you're not just tied
They
down
know,
here.
they know.
Yeah, and they know who we are.
Yes.
And I got to ask them. I said, well, I got one question for them.
Yeah.
How you gonna come in our town, don't knock on our door and say you coming?
Yeah.
So you don't talk about reparations. One thing is who's gonna get the money? Who can we trust?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if we can't trust each other to communicate, how can we trust each other with money?
Now,
Yes.
this coming through the NAACP, or this is separate from all that.
Well, you know what's so funny is we talk about reparations, and we've watched this country be built on the backs of blacks. Yeah. It is what it is. Country wouldn't be what it is if it wasn't for us.
Right.
And we're the only ones that they haven't given reparations to. Yeah. They go to any other country and give and give and give, but they won't even take care of their own. I was watching something earlier today, and Vance was talking about how Iran, they have people sleeping on the street, and they don't take care of their people. And the person that was listening to him talk, he flashed a picture from inner cities right here in the United States. Like, you're talking about people sleeping on the street, and you're not
In
taking
front of the
care
White
of
House,
them.
let's call it
Thank
what it
you.
is. I mean, you go to
Thank you.
Washington, it's right on Pennsylvania
Thank
Avenue.
you.
Homeless people,
The
tents.
hypocrisy of these people is really ridiculous, man. And you see it every day.
And what makes it
they
even
lie
worse-
and cheat. He gets up there and puts himself like he's Jesus. Like, how much of that can you take? I just don't understand.
What makes it even worse that veterans that fought for this country
Yes.
are homeless. How can that be? You're on the front line, shooting to protect us as a people, and come home, you can't use the same bathroom, you can't go to different facilities, you can't go to restaurants, and it was a time you couldn't even vote.
And you got draft dodgers telling you to go to war
Yeah, right.
and fight for something that you don't even know why.
It's terrible.
It's amazing. It really is. It's
Yeah.
amazing to see, the road that this country's taking right now, and it's not a good one.
No, it's not.
It's not a
Well,
good one.
we got to change it. That's why I like the idea of communicating with, starting off with 10
Yes.
minutes.
Yes.
But you're going to have a major problem, and this is from experience. I warn y'all. I warn you on this from experience.
Yes.
You do not meet with 10 men and don't mention the woman. See, you're asking for a fight now, because the women going to want to be there and want to wonder why they're not there.
Well,
So get ready for it.
What's so funny as you say that is because when I
That was the
was
second meeting, but go ahead.
when I was a school board member, there was a kid that got shot on Adams Avenue. Guy snuck up behind and shot him on his porch. Okay? And at that time, I was really concerned some things were going on. I called a meeting amongst the men in Pleasantville. And we filled up the cafeteria. And we had a couple females that came down there. And I was like, listen, all due respect, this is something that our men need to handle. And out of that came the men of Pleasantville and this and that. I don't know how far they went with it. But, it's okay. Sometimes they have to understand is that men have to do their own thing sometime and, work things out. Because as the sister said yesterday, our last show, when are we going to step up and do our thing? You know what I mean? So you can't argue. As long as we're stepping up, don't worry about the manner in which we're doing it. Let us do it.
There you go.
Am I correct?
And I remember the Million Man March.
Yes.
When
Yes.
Mr. Farrakhan was going around,
Yes.
and there was thousands and thousands of men in line,
Yes.
and the woman was like applauding, like, "Thank
Beautiful.
God, they finally
Yes.
came together."
Yes.
So it works for them spiritually.
Yes.
Yes.
Just to see it.
That's why
Just
I was-
to know that you're talking about.
That's why it hit me when she said that yesterday. It's time for y'all to step up so that we can step back.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
A
And
lot of people have always disliked, when you look at the Bible, how God told Jesus to pick the 12 men. Pick 12 men. And there always was a talk about, well, why not a woman involved? Well, if we understand the Bible, the man was made first and was given a job to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it was God that said it wasn't good that man be alone. So he created what he would say a helper. Now today's church, you don't hear about that, women being helpers, but they misunderstand what that helper word means. It actually means to help the man stay in his position as the overseer of everything in their family and everything. And all we're saying to the women today, give us a chance for men to come together and let God deal with us. We're not asking anybody else to deal with us but God. We believe in somebody. We believe in a higher power. I believe in Jesus Christ, okay, because I know he is God. But we have to, Pleasantville is dead. Pleasantville is dead. And there's nothing coming to life in Pleasantville but the politics.
Mm-hmm.
And churches, I gotta say, churches, you're all involved in it. If we actually do what God tells us to do, love one another as he had loved us. That's the first thing of the commandment. If we can't do that, then there's no way that we can get together. So if we can get 10 men together with the love that we need to have for Pleasantville, we can make some changes with God. Make some changes.
And you know, everybody has a talent and a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone has an individual talent and purpose. That's why the way we were made, everybody have different fingerprints.
Yes.
Yes.
Everybody's
Yes.
teeth ain't the same.
Unique.
And why were we made differently
Unique.
to act the same? So we all have a purpose. It's just about everybody staying in that lane so we won't have no accidents. See, that's when we have accidents, when we get out of that lane. So we just stay on.
Bump into each other.
If we bump it, and there be accidents every time. That's why the insurance is so high, because we paying everybody's insurance because they spend in another lane. And it happens in our communities, and it's happening every day. But we got to use the talent and experience that we have, because nobody can take that away, because nobody gave us that.
Yep. You know, it's so funny is I had a conversation with, we were talking last week, and, you know, one of the things that were on my mind is the lack of black-owned businesses here in Pleasantville. And to watch, it's like it doesn't matter. And I remember I had a conversation with someone, and they basically told me in so many words, oh, well, the blacks aren't entrepreneurs. They don't want to be business owners, you know what I mean? So it was kind of degrading to me. I didn't like it, but, you know, you have to look at the full picture, because honestly we're not getting out there opening our own businesses. And I don't know whether it's because we don't want to do it, or there are roadblocks thrown up in front of us when it comes time for us to do it. You know what I mean? And you know, I was talking to Dr. Miller. I'm going to have him come on also. You know, so we have him, Gaynor, and Mr. Ace. Mr. Ace has a little shop down there. But, you know, that is basically it right here in Pleasantville. So as far as a city, and you talk about coming together, we're talking about reparations, but when are we going to prepare ourselves to do for ourselves? You know what I mean?
Well, see, that's where it comes to City Hall, Pleasantville School Board. They have policies and procedures put in place. So somebody wants to open up a business, they got to go through so many rules and regulations and hoops. You got to go back and get rid of some of that policy and procedures, because one black gentleman wanted to open up a bakery. A baker. He was a good baker and wanted to open up a bakery. But they put him through so much of red tape, so many things he had, how much money he had to spend, he just gave up. And that's what's happening with the blacks.
It is.
They are giving up.
Yep, because it's so many obstacles thrown in front of them from their own. And I've witnessed that being on city council and watching things happen from inside.
Yes.
People being called names. I mean, there are certain things that we do to ourselves that it's just unbelievable. Like, why do we hate each other so much? Why are you okay with watching other people come into your community and taking over and dictating instead of you doing it yourself?
And they're doing it to us as we speak.
Come on, man.
I mean, let's call it like it
Come
is.
on.
609-641-8870. Call up and let's talk about it.
Yes.
But what's happening to us, and what's especially the black community,
Yes.
is that oftentimes we know we've been through a lot of trauma.
Yes.
Yes.
When you've been through a lot of trauma, and I mean through slavery, Jim Crow,
Yes.
all those things, and still today,
Yes.
and you have obstacles in your way, such as politics.
Yes.
And the policies that's been made to put, and people to get in our way to stay down, to get hush money to say, listen, your job is to keep them from rising economically
Thank
you.
and socially thinking for
Keep
themselves.
throwing them obstacles
And
in there.
that's a major problem.
Yeah.
It starts over and over again. But how do we fulfill that? We have to go back to our young people.
Yes.
They ain't hearing none of that.
They ain't hearing none of that.
They going by visual, what they see. They say, all these empty stores, I can't own one. We can't get together with 10 brothers and buy a block.
Right.
Other nationalities do it. Why can't we? So what happens when you go and introduce that to your powers that be? It's like they gatekeepers.
Yes.
Like, no, you can't do that. Stop your dream before you even start.
Yes. Yes.
So after a while, young people are like, wait a minute, if I can't do it that way, I got to do it the other way. I'm trying to survive. I got a life.
And it's
it's real.
crazy because it's not only that, it's also in education.
Yes.
And you were on the school board when I was on there when this happened.
Yes.
We're coming down to the end of the year, right? Summer programs are coming up. So I'm looking at all these different summer programs coming up, ESL and this and that, English as a second language, the whole bit.
Yeah.
So I'm checking, and I had gotten a call, like, Tony, will you check and see and make sure that they're going to have summer school, right? So just saying what they do to us in our own community. When I posed the question, they said, oh, we're only going to have summer school for ESL community right now. We're not going to have it for, the regular students and this and that. I'm like, wait a minute. How is that okay? To take a whole group of kids and say, okay, you don't matter right now. We're going to focus all these grant money on this here certain segment of the population. And those are the things that have to stop. Also, me and you had a real deep conversation about this here. I said, every student that comes in here, if you're teaching them English as a, second language and you're giving them, time for that, then make sure you have the playing field even and teach our kids Spanish also, so that when they graduate, they're on an equal playing field.
Right.
Am I right? They know both languages, so that when their job comes up, you can't just say, oh, we're taking a bilingual kid. Hey, they're all bilingual. Now let's keep the field even. So these are some of the things that have happened, not only in business, but you're looking at schools. There's so many obstacles that are thrown at us on a daily basis, and it's like we always have to find a way to jump that hoop.
Maneuver around it.
Yes.
Speaking about that now, I mean, we talked about, if you were to get together with some men in the community,
Yes.
what would be the basic agenda so we can talk about how we're going to gather them together? What would be the major point?
Where is
that we would have a
Pleasantville
comment?
today? Where is Pleasantville today? Looking at the school system, where is Pleasantville? Where is the city council today? If somebody wants to come in and build a complex for senior citizens, just did one. Why is it you have to add that 20 years, 30 years debate, or what is it, rebate? Where they don't pay the full 100% taxes on day one. We got to look at what the practices. See, everybody that's on the school board, on the city council right now, they're sticking with the past practices. And the past practices are coming up and biting them in the butt. Because we cannot bring a person that wants to develop in Pleasantville, because they got to go with rules number 1 to 10. And guess what? If you do that, we're going to give you a rebate for 20 years, 30 years. That means you only pay 2% of your taxes on it. But you get somebody that wants to buy a home in Pleasantville, they can get the home, they can buy the home, but guess what? They're paying the full amount of taxes day one. That's what, brother, that's what we have to do and find out, well, where are we today? What's going on today that makes things just worse? You know, we have playgrounds in Pleasantville. They're dust. There's no kids on the playgrounds. Leeds Avenue has a playground that has 3 baseball fields, a football field. They got all this stuff, but no kids. I had to find a place to take my grandson, so he wanted to swing. He said, Pop, I just want to swing. Can you take me to a park that has a swing in it? I went all over the place, and I found it at Leeds Avenue School, way up in the back, near Apseek, way up in the back. But in Pleasantville,
Right.
had a swing. That was his day. That was his day. Couldn't take him over to the park that they just have where water's coming out the ground.
Yes.
They ain't got no swings over there.
Yes.
You know, so all I'm saying is it's time for us to stop. Okay, the past is the past. The leaders at that time did what they had to do because that's what they had to do. But they always involved with the Republicans. The Republicans, you remember what's that guy who was going to run for governor, Gormley. You remember him? Oh, he was strong. But him and the mayor at that time was very close. And everything that came in, all the big monies that came in to build these different high rises, whatever, you know, projects or whatever, Republicans had something to do with it.
You know, it's funny you say that because politics, they're supposed to be public servants.
Public service.
They took an oath to put the public first. And, you know, if we can get one council person and one person from the school board to come to that meeting with us, we can have some real conversations and guidance towards what we see and how we can move a community forward. So if you're listening, 609-641-8870, and call and let's talk about it. But, you know, you mentioned about black businesses. Now, cannabis, let's call it marijuana. Marijuana, right? We got arrested for marijuana.
Yeah.
For just rolling it up or having it in your car.
Yeah.
Did three strikes you out, you did 30 years to life.
Yes.
Brothers just coming home now.
Yes.
Started at 17 years old, getting out of prison at 50.
Yes.
This is reality.
It's reality.
Now you make it legal. And we can't even get a license to have one. And the house, that's up to date. Yeah, but how many of them are black owned, and how many people do you know from the community that's part owner of it?
Right.
Now you can name how many that they use their names in order to get the license.
Right.
But can you name ownership? That's the sinfulest thing that could have happened.
Yeah.
How can you use us to change the law? And then once it changes, you
benefit from
you take us completely out. And we're talking about reparations?
There you did. That's
and you start it over again.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's go back.
That's what I'm saying.
Liquor. Moonshining. That means we were making the liquor, selling it illegally.
Yeah.
It was legal.
It was legal.
They was making it illegal.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? So what happened, they put a seal on it and taxed it.
What's it called?
A seal. They put a seal on it. Control. Yes, exactly.
Control.
Numbers.
Control.
The numbers. Lottery. Everybody playing lottery now. You go to a machine, you go to Wawa, you go everywhere, you see a lottery machine. Who started it? It was the black people in the community. Look up in New York, look at Chicago, with Al Capone and all of them. You had black people running those numbers game. Running the numbers. Now it's legal. We can't even get a machine to sell the number tickets. Gambling. Same thing. Dice. Blackjack. All of that. We've had card games was planted every day in every bar in every community.
Every little back
chicken
room.
circlets, everything.
Yes.
And guess who was there enjoying it? Mostly white folks.
Yes.
They said, well, you know, to build a casino, you got to have over 500 rooms and millions of dollars.
Yes.
cut us completely out of it,
Yes.
and made billions, and took the money out of
Still
communities
making
still going.
billions.
Look at the development that's going on there. They get pallets, payment in lieu of taxes. Do residents get a payment in lieu of taxes?
And
Do we get a tax break?
they're making money.
They have the money.
They're making it hand
Yes.
over fist, man.
So when we talk about reparations and things that, that stop us, that's in our way, we're in our own way.
We know.
Because we're allowing our own people to do
There
it
you
to
go.
us. Because we sympathize with them. We don't want to beat them up and tell them the truth.
Right.
Well, we tell them the truth, they get scared. Oh, we don't like you, and they talk about you like a dog.
Right.
But if the truth going to set you free, what you scared of?
And
Okay, you got me going.
I don't want to be wrong about this, but I want to let you know we had people in leadership for years and years ago in the past. Okay, I'm not going to name people. Okay,
Please don't. Please don't.
Right, I can't. But we can't live or have a vision of the past and try to continue that vision. We have to have a new vision in Pleasantville. We have to have a new vision in the Pleasantville School District. We can't go back with what we used to do. And the leaders that are there today, they're trying to stick with the past. You got to leave the past in the past. And you have to give the young people, you have to give everyone in the city of Pleasantville an opportunity. You know, listen, Joanne Farmer, she resigned. It left her position open as a councilwoman. Okay, now I've been on the Democratic committee for Pleasantville for years. Now I hear that I have to sit in front of the committee and be interviewed and tell them why I wanted to see. I get to the meeting and they're arguing about other people that are not there, but we can't just let Paige speak. I mean, we just got to schedule another day. So they convinced me it's not for me to stay. I'll leave. Later that night, they went on and did the selection. I wasn't one chosen. The one they chose was from the school board and had no type of record of what he did in the community. It's because Paige is not. He's marked. Paige, we don't want Paige at all. Okay, I understand that, but give me some respect. I'm there ready to tell you why I like to sit in that seat. I'm going to tell you things that I've done. I never put things in writing. I had it that night. Okay? But this is what I'm saying. They want the people that they can control. The minds of the people. They need that.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
School board,
Yes.
council,
Yes.
committee.
Yes.
All the experience and knowledge that you have.
Yes.
Why do you keep going through this?
Because when my God says to me that he's not done, and he answers prayers through people, and he calls people to do something, I feel so strong. After 2023, I had open heart surgery. I was dead. I was dead for 6 hours. But I know when he brought me back and I opened my eyes, he got something for me to do. And if I stand up by myself and tell people what is wrong and what God says is right, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. Because my kids came through the system. I came through the system. My twin brother came through the system. We didn't hurt nobody. We didn't beat up nobody. We didn't cause problems. I just won at a time where I shouldn't have won. I beat the city. I won. So they throw me out of the Democratic Club, you know.
So the second part of that question is,
Yes.
okay, you said why,
Yes.
but at the same time, you're doing this kind of to yourself.
What do you mean?
Don't it hurt for the community and some people in the community to be treating you like this?
Well, you got to understand, there's two parts in the community. There's a part that wants everything to be the same, don't want no changes. They want this organization that's taken over and been taken over for years to continue. But then you got another part a part that is silent, but yet they will come out and vote. They will come out and vote, okay? But it's hard. It's tough. It's tough. Listen,
you know
I don't
what?
have a problem.
Listen to this here. What I want to say is this here, is that we've been going through this here that hamster wheel here in Pleasantville, right? Same thing, over and over. We've watched people be put in positions that aren't qualified. People that only want to sit there for the recognition of being a board member or a council person. You know, I always thank God that He put me in the positions that He put me in. He gave me talent. He gave me a chance to, you know, go around the world. So I was able to see a lot. I was able to do a lot. And my parents raised me so that I was confident in myself and who I was. I didn't have to have anyone, you know, pat me on my back or, you know, tell me this and that to make me feel good about myself. I felt good about myself, right? So I thank God that when I stepped up for the school board position, I did it because I'm looking at our children.
Yes.
All right, I worked in there. I saw the dirt that was going on. You know what I'm saying? I saw how the city and the school board didn't do anything together to make the future of our children better. You understand what I'm saying? Right. I saw that. So that's where I wanted to help. I saw an older lady that when I was in 6th grade, at her name was Miss Kennedy. She was working at Washington Avenue School then. This was back in the early 70s. Okay, when I became a school board member in 2010, 2011, she was only making $15,000. Look at the time. It's almost 30 years. You understand me? And she brought me her check. You know what I'm saying? Look, Tony, will you look at this here, which made me run for the president of the union. And I ended up winning that. So, you know, what I'm saying is this here is that sometimes we do things for the wrong reasons, Steve. You know what I'm saying? And if it's not for the right reasons, man, it's not going to turn out right. And I don't care who's running these school board president, you know, the mayor or whatever. If you're not doing it for the right, you know, the council president, if you're not doing it for the right reasons, then you know what? It's always going to, like they say, that foundation is messed up. That building's going to crumble sooner or later. And you look at the school system now, it's starting to crumble more and more. You know what I mean? Things are starting to crack. And I just think it's time that we build on a solid foundation, man, because right now, you know, we're putting people in place. From what I'm hearing is that a gentleman that was on the school board, and I'm not sure whether this happened or not, but this is what I was told, was out there cussing and threatening, you know, some women that were there at the meetings. And then you reward them by making him a councilman. Like,
and Steve, let me
it's not a right. It's not good business, man, and it's not good for our children to see that this is the example that we're setting. Am I correct?
Absolutely. But the other part of that is, you know, let's face it. Now, you tell me am I wrong? Voting and elections have not helped us. It turned us backwards. So while we continue to do the same thing, what else do we need to do besides voting for people? Well, because it ain't work. Even the Constitution haven't worked. Well, you see it from the president on down. It ain't work. So when are we going to wake up and do, you understand what I'm saying? And this is reality. Our young people say, well, where's the future? Because if that's the future, for me to vote, and if my vote count, this is what I get. And if it don't count, this is what I get. And if I don't vote, this is what I get. Why are we voting?
So, Christian, answer. I want you to feed in on this here. Give us a little bit.
What are we talking?
The question is basically...
Can I just say this before? A couple weeks ago, the Board of Education voted for a gentleman. He was the only one that applied for the vacancy. I just got a paper yesterday, a memo, that the vacancy, it still needs to be filled because the person didn't make it through. I don't know what happened. I don't know. But
you didn't
this
have
is
the
what I'm saying.
opportunity, but they selected somebody.
I'm going for the position, but yet
Say that again, Steve.
They wouldn't even give you the opportunity,
They
but
wouldn't give me
somebody
the
else
opportunity.
got selected. They couldn't make the cut.
And the qualifications is based on, can you read, can you write, do you know, can you got to do all this, can you vote, do you live in the city, all that's the qualifications, but I got other qualifications.
But you know what it is, man, is that we as a community, we look at these things personal instead of professional. You know what I'm saying? And when you put people in those positions, they have to be professionals. They have to understand how to get things done. It's not about putting somebody on there that you like or that's going to do what you want. You know, there's been a lot of people that I've had to work with because we were getting things done. I hated their guts. I know they were snakes, but you have to get things done. And sometimes, you know, you have to work with those that don't look like you or don't come from the same neighborhood as you, but you can get things done. And it's not good when we're putting the future of our city on those that we like.
Oh, good point.
So that's where we were at.
And I think if you look around, there's a lot of that going on.
Yes.
That's going on.
There's a lot of that going
Yes.
on. And to speak to,
These are bad
It-
taste.
I don't really voice this because it can sound like that doesn't make sense. When it comes to voting and being a part of that process, I almost feel like even if you don't believe in the process, do it anyway. Because there are going to be certain situations where it's kind of like, when people say, well, you don't even vote, I do. And it still didn't work. So do you see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I choose to exercise that right because I believe that there are other things happening that maybe it doesn't work, but at the same time I still choose to exercise that right
It might make a
because
difference.
it could.
Yes.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, you know, because there may come a time where somebody says, well, you don't even, well, but I do. And look, you see what I'm saying? I do, and look. And so I think that sometimes we have to do things that as a whole may not necessarily always make sense, or it may not be something that works per se. We don't know if it works.
Right.
Or maybe there's something else going on. Maybe it's a ruse. Maybe, you know what I mean? But we have to be a part of a process so that other things can happen.
Good point, because good answer as well. Because the process is very important, because after you vote, it's about accountability.
Yes.
See, but if you don't vote,
Yes.
how can you hold somebody
Right.
accountable? Because you wasn't involved with the
Yep.
process.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So I understand exactly what you mean. Yeah,
Steve, we
good
gotta be
answer.
fair with Atlantic City and Pleasantville. There's an organization that started working out in Atlantic City, how they got their absentee ballots and how they did that. Now we have people that actually voted, signed their name on the envelope, sealed it, but gave it to the wrong person.
Well, let me ask you a question. Was it the wrong person, or was it somebody they can trust, that they can see and be with them? Because that is different than just giving you
that could be the same.
ballot to
It's the person that they trust, right?
Double-edged sword there, right?
Check this out. The person that they trust is taking it and giving it to someone else. No, you're supposed to take it and put it in the mailbox. But if you give it to someone else, I mean, there were stories of bundles in the vans of these people. That organization had bundles of absentee ballots, and they took them to the courthouse in Mays Landing, and they called up people to be messengers, and they paid the messengers certain amount of money, and they take those same ballot that old lady, that young lady or whatever lady gave to her loved one to put it in the mailbox, but they gave it to the other person because that one made some money off of it, and they get about 400 of them.
But look at this here. The thing of it is this. You know, we're talking about things that they're speculation. Am I correct?
No, we can prove it.
Let me add into that, because the policy and in this Constitution,
Yes.
you have a right to use your vote to change it. That's why we have amendments to the Constitution.
Yes. Yes.
Now, everything that's legal now
Yes.
wasn't legal, even as being a slave. Let's remember that.
Correct.
So it made it look in the appearance that it was wrong, right? But was it really right? Slavery. Let's use that as an example. Not being able to vote. Let's use that as an example.
Yes.
And how did it change? It didn't change. It changed because people
Who fought on it?
fought on it, and they fought on the ground and in the streets
Yep.
to make sure
They died.
and they exposed and they died to
They
have
died
it.
for it.
So if we're going to make a change in Pleasantville or anywhere else, it's a way that we went about changing laws
Yes.
and policy.
And that's why I said last week, what are we willing to sacrifice? Because in a lot of ways, the things that we should be sacrificing for have become the sacrifice.
Yes.
Say that one more
The
time.
things that we should be sacrificing for, we should be sacrificing for our children. And our children have become the sacrifice.
Yep.
Yes.
They're the lambs.
Unfortunately,
They're lambs.
we've said, well, I gotta work so I can provide for my kids, and so we've given up our children in order to take care of them. And I get it.
Yeah.
But then you wake up one day and realize that you didn't raise your kids.
But you know what? That's like you said. You know, you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. You know, as a mother or a family trying to provide. You know, those are some of the things that happen. You know what I mean? You have to get out there and hustle. And like you said, it shouldn't be like that. But
And so then that's when you again have uncomfortable conversations, and like the brother was saying last week, what you pay for when it comes to your taxes and things like that, what you pay for, you can't tell me that I can't have access to that.
Right.
Correct.
Because that's what I pay for.
Correct.
So absolutely, the things that should be available in my community, I'm coming for it.
Yes.
That's right.
Like, what are we talking about? I'm coming
that's
for it.
where
That's
we've
right.
been too
That's right.
complacent. We've been too silent.
Right, because we don't want to, you know what I mean? Because and a lot of times it's not even just that we are complacent; it's that we don't want to look like we need it,
It's the sacrifice, like you said.
or we don't want to look like we need it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
the young lady was asking about resources. She wasn't saying what's free going on in Pleasantville, and everybody was like, "Oh, y'all gotta."
Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't want to look like, you need the help.
I'm begging for our own money.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
No.
For something that's rightfully yours.
Right.
Because it's our children's right to have a place to go,
That's right.
a safe place to live.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Even I can remember it was a young lady a few years ago, a young girl. I was on the council and she was molested right down there by the rec center. You know what I mean? Cops were out there for a few days, a week afterwards. Once that was done, you know what I'm saying? It just goes away. So we're right back to the same old thing. I can remember when, our rec center was equipped. We had the police down there. There was a power program that all the police were involved in, and it worked well. I can remember my sons going to Florida with, Peterson and them, man, and getting all these kids together, and they take them down there. They down there. They go. They were doing things with
I
our
thought
kids.
that was the POW.
Thank you.
Right, I thought it was
Now
That's
we
what-
have these police officers coming into Pleasantville. They get the job, and the next thing you know, they move out of Pleasantville, and we don't see them no more. So we don't really have a PAL program down there anymore. We don't have police involvement with our children. So the only involvement that they have with the police is when there's a problem.
Yeah.
And that's
And that's
not a
where
good situation.
the so-called powers that be that wants to control policy and also resolutions and whatnot. They can change it and amend it, make it mandatory that you live here. Or you want to live here and take our money out? No, we want you to stay. There's some houses that's available, that's affordable, that meets your salary.
Yes.
And you can help make the school system better.
Yes.
Because we're going to speak up with you.
Yes.
You're part of us.
Yes.
It can happen overnight. And it happens in other cities.
It happens.
And Steve,
It's being involved.
what makes the city run? My taxes.
Right.
I've been a homeowner for 42 years. Why do I want to keep running? Because I want to tell you, if I have to sit in the seat, how to use my taxes. I don't want to hear that the city council voted for them to get a raise. Wait a minute. Your job is to hire people to come in and take care of our city. That's all it is, and to do some policies or whatever.
Well, I don't want to step on nobody's toes on that one, but just look at it. How many of our elected officials are actually business people?
How many are
business
homeowners?
people?
But you
Many
know
are
what,
homeowners.
Steve? You might not be a business person, but it's about sitting down and seeking knowledge or going to the right person. And it's
right.
one thing that I was always understood is that I don't know everything, but I know I can find somebody that does know. And you have to leave your ego at the door when it comes to running a school system or a city. That needs to stop. And we have too many egos here. And you know what? I look at things that I've done. Hey, man, I should have a big ego. But I'm able to sit back and like, hey, man, you know what? If it's not right for everybody, then let's make it right. Yeah. Let's see who we can get to make this right. Yeah. When I come and sit and talk with you, Steve, I know where your knowledge is. I listen to the things you say. I know your importance. I know you're out there fighting for us. So why should anybody want to give you a hard time? You're out there on the front line fighting for us every day. You know what I mean? Might not be me personally, but I know if I call you and say, hey, Mr. Young, I need you over here, you're going to be there. You know what I'm saying? That's what we need. We need somebody dedicated to us. And it can't be always about, politics and the bull that goes along with it. Because when you look at these jokers that are running around here behind Van Drew and all these other jokers that have ripped this city off and used our people to elect Trump, and then we sit there and this is what we get. Like, come on.
And the thing about it, you're right. Where's the fight?
Where's the fight?
Where's the fight? You got all these national organizations.
Yes.
Hey, Steve,
we got some around here.
Yes.
In New Jersey.
Yes.
How can we get 1% of billions of dollars for contracts, and you got black organizations sitting at the table?
And he can still come in this area and act like everything's okay.
Right.
It's, it's just like last week when I said they let Trump and his KKK come down Main Street in Pleasantville. Like, that was okay for them to do, but you know what? When I had this brother that wanted to do a Caribbean parade here in Pleasantville, the mayor and all of them gave this man such a hard time. They had the police out there harassing him. Mayor Ward, she was horrible with this thing, man. And I'm going to say it because this is what it is, and this is the truth. And it was a consistent thing of harassment, but it was because it's one of our own. But when that situation happened with Trump and them, they didn't say one word. Not one word was said. So where's this fight at? Like you said, Steve, where's the fight?
Yeah.
Where's the fight?
So
do we have any in us?
Yes, we do. Because we have to do it for our children.
Yes.
And even if you don't have children, it's your money. So you have a responsibility to watch your money and how it's being spent. Do you want somebody to take your money and kill people?
That's what they're doing.
And not say nothing?
2 minutes.
So we have a couple of announcements we're going to make real quick, and before we get ready to leave. One thing is that the ombudsman, those who don't know who it is.
Say that again.
The ombudsman is OMBUDSMAN. They work for the state of New Jersey, and they work with the prison and the jail system. And what happened, the ombudsman don't actually work for the government. It's someone that's been in jail and came home, and they hire them to come in the communities to say, so you can give them the questions and answers of the reason why your loved one has been in there not being treated right, or what things they can do to make it better. And they will be here in Atlantic City on next week, and we're going to have them at Soldiers Home from 5 to 6 p.m.
Okay.
And we'll bring them through the National Action Network, South Jersey chapter. So I just wanted to announce that.
I have a brother that just got out from doing like 30 years. I'm not going to mention his name right now, but him and a couple other guys I grew up with, it was like 4 of them, and they went to jail for killing, some white guy and I think his wife over there in Northfield. It was sad, the whole situation was bad, and he did a lot of time, but he's out now and he's doing very well. And I talked to him the other day, so I'm gonna try to get this brother to come on, because that's something that you could ask a lot of questions on about. How do you, let's say, get yourself back into society? Because one guy that got out, he's doing very well. The other one that got out that was involved in the same thing, he done went back to jail already. You understand what I'm saying? So there's things that are needed. Some of these guys that get out and can't handle it, they need some knowledge and they need some help. So that's a good thing for us to do.
And on that also, the Atlantic City Housing Authority, HUD. I'm going to say HUD now. Washington is having a meeting, their monthly meeting in Atlantic City through the Housing Authority on the 23rd. It's going to be at the what's it called? Shore Park, low rise. Okay. That's on 224 North Virginia Avenue. So anyone that want to know what's going on with HUD and what are they doing, you can come back there and ask for yourself. That's your money. Good. You can ask any question. You don't have to be a resident to come to the meeting. You're a taxpayer. You're paying taxes. You can come, and you can speak up on how your money is being treated.
That's good.
I mean, because the way it was treated with those residents, no heat and hot water for years, and nobody's coming in and saying anything about it, is sinful. So, so come out.
You're right. And it's bad that they felt that they were in a position where they couldn't speak up for themselves. You know what I mean? Because that's that's crazy to have to live like that.
And the thing about it, they were coming to the meetings because I was telling them to come, and we were coming to the meeting and speaking. Now we was told you can't. You talk for 3 minutes, or the meeting's over. They would change the date of the meeting, the time of the meeting. I'm telling you, he was treated like really bad, but we overcame it.
Yes,
because it was about faith.
Because you were what? Consistent
and consistent, and that's what made it happen.
Consistent.
Yeah. So I just wanted to mention that. Okay, they're having a Reverend Jesse Jackson Day, and that's going to be, it's not in this area, that's going to be in Elizabeth, and that's going to be on the 18th from 3 to 5 p.m. So anyone's interested, you have to call the radio station, 609-641-8870. Y'all want to know what's going on? You can call the radio, 609-64. You didn't want to call to talk to us, but you can call to get the information. 609-641-8870.
You ain't got to talk to us.
But we want to thank everybody.
Yes.
And anybody wants to help out with the spring cleaning with Stanley Holmes Village.
And you said that's going to be when? Get that date again?
That's Sunday, April the 26th. And that's from 10 a.m. to 4. Yes, 2 weeks from there. And just come and get involved.
Good.
And the ombudsman thing is the 29th of the month at Soldiers Home. All right?
Is our meeting Monday?
Yes, we're gonna try to make it for Monday. That's something we're gonna discuss. But we're looking forward to next week because we're gonna have Bishop Johnson on. I'm hoping to have Mr. Saladin to come back on again, and we got one more person I'm going to try to get, but I think next week is going to be a real positive show that we might have to extend a little bit. So we hey, look, your eyes
you got to learn how to use that board now.
Well, we had that meeting with the guy, with the man.
Early, yes.
We're going to talk about the reason why we had over 15 superintendents for Pleasantville School District. I have the answer, and we're ready to talk about it.
Yes, we need to be.
Yes.
I just got one more announcement. This is the last one. This event is going to be held, a human trafficking event. A lot of our children has been human trafficking. I mean, human trafficking is almost like pimping the children, okay? So that's going to be held at the All Worlds Memorial Building on April the 25th from 12 to 2 p.m. And that's 1510 Adriatic Avenue, and it's about human trafficking.
Do they have flyers out on this stuff? On these meetings?
You have to call 609-641-8870.
You know what's crazy though, man, is that how that has changed so much, so fast within the last 10, 15 years. You know, child trafficking and, you know, those things that have been going on. You watch a culture change. Yeah, and it's just, you know, got to keep your eyes open.
The sad thing about it, you know, because of what's going on in technology and social media and everything, we don't know what's going on around us.
Yeah.
We found out
Keep
the last minute.
open.
You got to
open.
stay tuned. 609-641-8870, and we out now.
We want to thank you, and God bless you, and see you next week.
Thank you.
God bless.